right, let's
Okay.
jump on in. For the introduction, can you tell us a bit about yourself and your streaming channel? What makes you you?
Well, my real name is Craig, and then my gamer tag is Dead Oryx. My channel, I've got a very community-based channel. I'm a variety streamer too, so I'm always playing something new. I try and stay on the forefront of kind of what's happening, in the gaming industry because I'm absolutely trash when it comes to playing video games. So I figured the best thing I can offer is kind of what's new, what's trending, what's happening, and then also bringing a community together with some. I play a lot of community-based games too. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's kind of who I'm about and what my channel is about.
Okay, sweet. And then what's your name, Dead Oryx? What does that stand for?
Did I not say? Oh, Dead Oryx. Yeah, well, it doesn't really stand for anything, to be honest. I didn't spend too much time thinking of the name. I thought of the name like maybe 6 months before I started streaming. I had a gamer tag that I I've had that name for like the last my in 15 years. So and I got over it. I was getting old, and I thought I wasn't even planning on streaming. And then I wrote like a whole list of like adjectives down and nouns down. I was like cross referencing them. What sounds good together? I think I spent maybe like half an hour trying to come up with a name. Doesn't really have any meaning there, but it's come to have a meaning over time, which, like I said earlier, I'm trash at video games. I'm always dead, so Dead Oryx, I guess.
Makes sense. Let's see. What inspired you to start streaming and how did you get into the gaming scene in the first place?
What inspired me to start streaming? Well, I was I've always been passionate about video games. I've been a gamer ever since I was a young kid. Like my first console I got when I was about 5 years old. I got one of those. Like everyone's got the same story. They got one of those like off-market Chinese versions of a Nintendo NES system, and from there it kind of just I stayed with it. I've owned pretty much every console that's ever come out. Like if you name the console, I've probably owned it. There's only a select few I haven't owned. And then how I sort of I kind of was an actor for when I was in my early 20s. I started acting. I started going, like, I joined an agency and I started auditioning. I kind of fell in love with the whole art of acting. And I went and trained overseas and I came back and COVID happened. And there was very little work as an actor, as I mean, a lot of people didn't have a lot of work. I was always doing web development as it was also like a side project, not side project, little side company that I had. And when COVID struck, I had a friend that was streaming at the time, and they kind of said like, "Hey, why don't you stream?" So I, that's where it started, and it kind of merged two things that I really love. It's like entertaining acting because when you're on screen, I am myself. I'm the person who I am, but I've got a bit of flair to it where I kind of you know
Have that personality,
put
yeah.
on a bit of put on a bit of a show for the crowd, and I love doing that. I love entertaining, and then I love gaming and all things technology. So bringing those things together was like the perfect marriage for me, and that was been in love with streaming ever since.
Oh, that's good. And then since you went to all of the training and you have had like a normal day job, what do you do this full time now?
Yes, I do this full time now.
Okay. And you stream, what's your streaming schedule looking like? What does a week in your life look like?
A week in my life is pretty uh, monotonous because I'll start my stream at 8 o'clock in the morning. I usually stream for about a minimum of 10 hours, sometimes 11, 12 hours a day.
Sure.
So I'll end at 7 o'clock in the evening, and then I'll have dinner and do a little bit of work and prep for the stream the next morning. What I'm going to play, I change like a couple of things in my stream every day to kind of keep it new and fresh. And I rinse and repeat from Monday through to Friday. I stream about a minimum of 50 hours a week. So
Jeez.
it's pretty
Y-
much my day.
That's
I'm quite a
awesome.
marathon streamer.
That's hardcore. I mean, I do like 4 hours in that. I'm like, oof. Then it starts hurting. Well, with these long streams, have you done a 24-hour stream? Is that something you've done before?
Yes, in fact, like I did my first 24-hour stream. When was it? It was the end of June. That was my first. Was a subathon, but I went for 36 hours straight. I didn't sleep
Oh,
between.
jeez.
Uh, or 34 hours. Sorry, I think it was 34 hours. The time was it was quite a lengthy subathon, but I stayed awake the whole time. That was my only 24-hour I did.
Damn. Okay, that's good. But then weekends you take off. Weekends you don't stream to, rest and
Yeah,
recuperate after 50 hours in the week.
Yeah, my
Sheesh.
weekends, I'm absolutely battered after the week, and I spend like Saturday trying to do as little as possible, and then Sunday I'll do some work. I'll go. I usually run. That's another thing that I enjoy doing. So I'll go for
Okay.
a run over the weekend, see friends. But
Touching
yeah,
grass
I'm
and
I'm very yeah, touch grass. Exactly.
what's one of the biggest challenges you faced when you started streaming and how did you overcome them?
So the biggest challenge for me as a streamer has been, I guess you could say, it's a mental challenge, and it's not something that I've overcome. It's something that it's a constant battle. It's how you know what you think of your own content, your self-criticizing of your own content, how other people perceive you, how you perceive it, just this duality between how you perceived and how you perceive yourself, and throw in the view count into the mix.
Mm,
It's a constant mental battle, and that's the biggest challenge to overcome in streaming, and it's something that you never fully like overcome. There are points where I'm like, okay, I'm in the flow of things. I'm comfortable with my content. It doesn't matter about the view count. And then other days it's the flip side. Then I'm like, oh, there was only that many views. What am I doing wrong? How can I
yeah,
do it better? And stuff like that. So that is the biggest challenge for me, and it's an ongoing challenge. And I don't think I'll ever fully overcome it, but it's a great exercise to kind of try and overcome it on a daily basis. Fight that fight.
that's
But
good.
yeah.
That's quite a challenge. Let's see. On that note of all the challenges, what's been your most memorable moment or achievement while you've started streaming?
Memorable moment, I don't know. A memorable moment is quite tough because there's been so many. I'd probably say like my 36-hour subathon was quite a memorable moment and also quite an achievement. It's something that I was afraid of doing for the longest time. And then when I did it, it wasn't that bad, and I don't mind doing it again. Um, and another thing is probably eventually getting my partner badge, which, it doesn't grant you a whole lot of like a whole lot extra in the terms, at in Twitch. You kind of don't really even notice the difference between moving from affiliate to partner. All you get is a little tick next to your name. But alas, it's the achievement of, finally getting that means so much. So I guess that was quite a memorable moment too, and quite an achievement. Yeah.
Nice. How long have you been streaming? Since you started and then since you hit partner, how long did it take you to do that? Because your main platform is Twitch, right?
Yes. My
Okay.
main platform is Twitch. Yeah. I started streaming on the 3rd of January 2021. So it's been 3.5 years about. I got my partnership the end of last year. So it was just before I hit 3 years of streaming. I think it was like 2 years and 11 months
Sure.
from when I started to when I got partner.
Okay. Geez,
Yeah,
that's quite a grind. It's quite a grind. And then when
it's
you
quite a
started,
grind.
yeah, when
Yeah.
you started streaming, did you start off full time or did you do part time stuff and then decided one day, you know what, I'm gonna do this full time. I've got this.
I started streaming like 4 hours a day. I started streaming at I think it was I think I started at like 5 or 4 o'clock even in the morning, and I'd stream up until like 8, 9 o'clock, and that's when I'd end my stream, and then I would do the web development work that I had on my plate for the day. So it was in the beginning, it kind of I used those hours to consolidate all my gaming time because I said to myself, I game every single day. So why don't I just when I game, I only do it in front of the camera for streaming, and then I do it early so that I can still get my work done for the day. And it sort of evolved from there. So yeah, definitely started out part time. I actually started so early in the morning because I wanted to get used to just being on camera. I
Hmm.
didn't focus at all about the viewers or anyone coming into my stream. I mean, for the first 2 weeks, I probably had a view count of an average view count of about one or two. Like I had my one mate like sitting in my stream. That was about it. But yeah,
That's good. Yeah. Get your mom and your friends and everyone like come on.
exactly,
All right, let's see.
exactly.
And then on that note, starting out streaming, going full time, how do you keep engaging with your audience or build your community? What's your strategy for that? That's a good answer. You're answering like two, three questions in one answer, which is awesome. Give me one sec.
Sorry, thank you. Sorry,
Mm-mm.
I don't know. Is that a good thing?
That's good. Otherwise, it would be like question A, answer B, question A. Like, I don't want this is perfect. You're doing great.
All
Let's
right, thank
see. What are the What are the future goals? Okay, let me just read it quickly. Sweet. Sorry. I get a little caught up. Um, what are your future goals for your streaming career and how do you plan to achieve them? What's your next, not your next big thing, but what's in the future for you?
The future for me. So I want to start. So the whole time I've been streaming, I've never been sponsored. I've never been part of an org or anything like that. About a year ago I joined a stream team, which is a friend of mine. You could say I met them through Twitch. They were putting together a stream team, and I joined that stream team. And that's as far as I've gone in terms of collaboration with outside entities outside of my stream. So the biggest thing for me, the thing I want to, my next goal, you could say, is trying to find a good company that I could showcase their products, collaborate with, something that I believe in that'll work with my brand. That is, yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I'm working towards. And then other goals, I guess, I reached partner plus tier one or something. There's another tier that I still want to hit. So there's that goal that I also want to achieve as a second tier partner, because then obviously it changes your revenue share and you get 70%. So those are my two main goals at the moment. I'm slowly, I'm actively working on the first one only now, where I'm putting together media kits and stuff like that that I can start sending out to companies. I want to start compiling a list of brands that I feel would work well with myself. So that's I guess you could say my big goal moving forward. Sponsor. I did contact a company because like I said earlier, I host a lot of community based games.
Hmm,
So I've been spending a lot of my own money renting servers and stuff, so we can obviously host the games on those servers. So I just approached a server approached a server hosting company, and I asked them if they would like to, do some sort of collaboration. And that's my first company I've approached, and we've seemed to have reached some sort of deal. So
that's good.
from next, I don't know, maybe not next week, but soon I'll have my first kind of collaboration with the company. I
That's
wouldn't say
awesome.
it's a sponsor, but it's a collaboration that
It's
we're going to be doing.
a good
Yeah.
start. You mentioned that you play with your viewers or you're very community based. There's also a lot of streamers that don't do that. You know, they keep their streams very strict and, you know, to the T. Do you enjoy playing with viewers and engaging your community that much? And do you feel that's given you like a more of an edge when it comes to your streaming and building a community?
I wouldn't say it's given me an edge being a community streamer, because I think every single streamer has got something that works for them. So being a streamer that doesn't engage much with their community, they keep it a solo platform where they play single player games or multiplayer games, but they play on their own. That works for a lot of streamers too. And I spend a lot of time, if I'm not it's obviously split in two. Sometimes I'm doing community stuff, and then other time it's I'm on my own. I'm playing a single player game, and I enjoy that aspect too, because it gives me a chance to be alone with the community. But then yes, playing with the community it's something that I really enjoy doing. I love people. I'm very much a people's person, so it's it's definitely works in my favor to have community events. It kind of aligns with then looking for sponsors with the server stuff. It aligns with that, and it helps me. So yeah, it would give me my edge, because that's the edge I'm looking for. That's what makes me unique. There's no like right answer. I've realized to streaming. There's no like you get XQC who flicks on his camera at a random time. He doesn't have special scenes or anything
Yeah.
like that. Like hunched on his chair, and he gets hundreds of thousands of views. So like, what's the answer to this? It's just do what naturally flows best to you, because that's going to shine through on your content that you create, I believe.
How has streaming impacted your life, both professionally and personally?
How streaming has impacted my life. Uh, it has had a huge impact on my life, both personally, socially, and professionally. Like, I'm doing something that I really love doing. So on the professional side, I dropped like all the work I was doing before, like web development and stuff. And I was the kind of jobs that I had. I've always been a very outgoing person. Like before I was an actor, I was working for contracts in different countries around the world, and I really enjoyed that, and it got me out there, and I was as much as like when I was working in countries where there was like absolutely no infrastructure. I was living in a tent. I would have a Xbox 360 there, and I was playing video games as soon as I got time off. So, I always had video games wherever I went in the world. I would take a console with me. Like
Oh,
I was that
nice.
much of a nerd. Yeah. Um, and so now streaming has, and even acting. Like the one thing I really enjoyed about acting is I was going to all these different locations all over the place, all over South Africa to go and film like commercials or TV shows or stuff like that. So again, I was like traveling a lot, so very, out there. And streaming has kind of made me a bit of a hermit. So it goes against like my, traditional way of living my life. So now my days, like I said earlier, I wake up in the morning, I stream, I go to sleep, rinse, repeat. Weekends, I'm so buggered that I spend the entire weekend like resting and charging and working towards like the next stream. So professionally and like personally, socially, it has completely turned me into a hermit, and I'm just like got my head down, and I'm kind of working at these goals, and I've become addicted trying to hit these goals and stuff. So it's made me a bit obsessed, you could say, which I don't know if it's healthy at all. I think it's actually not healthy, because it's good to go out and it's good to see different things. So yeah, it's affected me. It's like 180'd my life completely. Like I
Sure.
was also like very social. After work, I was always meeting with friends, going out and stuff like that. Now I'll go out maybe twice a month when from going out like 4 or 5 times a week.
Oh,
Uh,
nice. And then you're hammered
and
afterwards, like dead. Like, I'm not doing that again.
yeah, exactly. So
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
so I'm just I'm gonna keep going at it. Like I haven't burnt myself out like people always talk about burnout. And I feel burnt out at times, but for the most part, I enjoy it so much that it's hard for me to sort of ruminate in like negative. Oh, I'm burnt out on this. I'm like long hours. I'm like shit. I wake up in the morning. I'm excited to put in another 10 hours stream. So
Sure.
it's yeah, it's quite it's quite the challenge,
That's good.
regardless if you enjoy it or not.
That's insane. All right. So let's see. One last question. If it's like the last of the first 10, is versus no. What advice would you give to someone who's just started out streaming or looking to, click that live button?
I think the best advice I could give is just do it. Like, don't even think about it. Like, what are you afraid of? Uh, there's nothing. There's nothing that you should be afraid. It's all in your head. And the next thing is, I would say, is treat it as a hobby. Like, don't quit your day job. It takes a lot. It's not that you can't reach the goals that you set up for yourself, but you need to be honest with yourself. You need to make sure, is this something that I could do day in, day out for the next however long what is a career? 10 years, 20 years inside an industry? Can you do that for 10 years, 20 years? Because if you do it for 3 years and quit, it it's worthless. I mean, you've got the experience and that's it. So you need to find the balance between, am I going to do this full time or am I going to do this as a hobby? So I would say, first of all, don't be afraid of anything. Try new things. It's always good. Try 100 different things, until you find the thing that you want to do. But don't be dishonest with yourself and think that this is what you want to do because, you think maybe you're going to get some sort of recognition for it. You're going to be maybe famous. You're never going to be famous. There's no Twitch streamer on planet Earth that is famous. Like, if I go and speak to my family and ask them, do you know who Dr. Disrespect is or XQC, they're not going to know.
Yeah.
You only become recognized within the field of gaming. And there's no like there's no fame in that. So just realize that you're doing this because you're in service to the people that you're streaming for. They're not in service to you. You are the court jester. You're the one that has to be the entertainer. So treat every single person like a human being, not a number, and all those sorts of things. So just make sure it's something you really want to do. Like you have to sit and think about it, meditate on it, but try it out. Do it. Do it for a month. Do it for 2 months. And then if you enjoy it so much and you can't stop thinking about it and it's something that you really want to do, like make sure before you spend like a whole lot of time doing something that you realize you didn't actually want to do. So there's a lot of people that have these like false ideas of things. I actually trained in Hollywood as an actor. So when I was there, I came across a whole lot of people that their objective was to become famous. It wasn't about the art of acting, and that was such a false sense of the idea of being an actor. It's like if you think that's what you want to do, it's never you'll never ever achieve it. Like you have to be the result of you doing something you love every single day will be, financial gain, recognition, and those things. But if your goal is recognition and financial gain, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Your goal needs to be the pursuit and the art of the whatever you are pursuing, whether it's acting, whether it's streaming, whether you know, with any industry, it doesn't just relate to streaming. It can relate to anything. Make sure it's you doing what you want to do, your true calling.
Sure, that's good
I would say,
advice. That's good advice. Because I've had some of the streamers, say, I've had one guy say, no, don't do it. Don't stream. It's probably not for you. You're not built for this. And then, it's a breath of fresh air to hear that you say, do it. Don't be scared. Like go in and, try it. So that's good to
yeah.
hear.
I mean, how are you gonna know you don't like something if you don't give it a good try? Like stream, if you stream once and you didn't like it, that's not enough. You need to stream,
Yeah.
50 times before you can really tell yourself, no, this is something I don't like. Because you get one, streaming once, there's not enough data in that to make a decision. So whether it's yes or to stop or to continue, no, you must do like several streams and realize, okay, yes or no. And there's no harm in realizing it's not what you want to do either. So you can always, stop and move on to the next thing. Try the next thing. Maybe you find what you're looking for.